All right, my man.
Thanks.
You're good.
Why my eyes, sir? You've never used them before.
Yeah, it's like that, except with brakes. I finally had a chance to get Finn on a track. The Utah Tesla Club staged a takeover of the wide-open Wednesday at the Utah Motorsports Campus. So the day begins here at the supercharger. I'm at a 72% charge, but I want to get pretty much to 100% so that I'm as close as I can be to a full charge when I get to the track, because performance is going to be better with a full charge. But the other reason I'm here is I need to practice. Once we got checked in at the track, it was time for a quick driver's meeting, where they went over the rules, meanings of different flags, and walked us through the course. There are two smaller tracks, the East Track and the West Track, both a little over 2 miles of tight technical turns. They can be combined into one larger 3-mile track with some long, fast straights. Today, we'd be on the East Track. They also set out some cone chicanes at strategic points to slow us down a bit, since today was mostly beginners. It's been over a decade since I've been on a track, so this refresher, as well as the training wheels of a slow track, was more than welcome. We pulled onto the track single file for our first lap. There were about a half dozen Teslas, mostly Model 3s, but at least one Model S. Damien G brought both his Tesla Model 3 Performance and his modified Viper GTS, and he and his wife took turns burning up the track. Make sure you check out his YouTube channel to see a drag race between the two. The Utah Tesla Club didn't completely own the track, though. Among the ICE vehicles in attendance were a great-sounding Corvette Z06, a couple of Hellcats, and a gorgeous vintage Porsche 904 that I was shocked to see being driven so hard on a track. No trailer queen here. Hers is faster.
She says, I need a lot of room. I was like, okay.
I think it's quick. Each car was let loose on the track, and then we waited until they got about a third of the way through before the next driver was allowed to start to avoid passing situations that can be risky for beginners. After a short wait, it was my turn for my first lap.
All right, you're good to go, buddy.
See ya. The track rules demand that your windows be down the entire time you're on the track, so audio's not going to be great. In case you're wondering, yeah, those are raindrops you see on the windshield, so I definitely took it easy this first lap. Now remember, Finn's a long-range dual motor, not the Performance Edition, so I don't have the big beefy brakes. All things considered, he handled it pretty well, at least on the first lap. The chicanes definitely prevent you from taking any kind of reasonable line through a lot of these turns. After each lap, we entered pit lane and lined up for another one. So much like Neo, Finn's barely ever used his brakes. With an EV like a Tesla, you're mostly using regenerative braking, which puts electricity back into the batteries. The only time you use your traditional calipers is in a panic stop situation, or, as it turns out, on a track. So the brakes actually stop the car securely and confidently in a panic stop situation, and in that first lap on the track, I felt pretty good about them. I was still getting a feel for the car, so I was braking very early into turns, because I didn't really know what the brakes could do. But I was pleasantly surprised. They slowed the car confidently. They were able to scrub off speed really effectively. But by the third lap or so, I was no longer braking into turns early because I didn't know the car well enough. I was braking into turns early because I was starting to feel the brakes fade. And by the end of the fourth lap, the brakes had faded so much that frankly I didn't feel confident continuing. So after the fourth lap, I pulled off the track to let the brakes cool. While I let the brakes cool, I decided to be a spectator for a while. The club even had our own private garage that opened right up onto the track. There was even cake. I'm not going to show this whole lap. I just thought you might want to hear the Z06. Check out that energy monitor, pegged at 1 kilowatt-hour per mile. I was fortunate to find myself behind that Porsche 904 from the mid-60s. It's a real treat to watch and listen to it take off.
All right, my man.
Thanks.
You're good.
This was definitely my favorite set of turns. I just wish those cones weren't in my way. Even without a long straight, we were able to pretty consistently dip into the triple digits on this part of the track. I love the way the Tesla grabs when you punch it coming out of the turn. I did a total of 8 laps, and pretty consistently the worst was the last of each group as the brakes were on their last legs.
Woo. All right, one more.
And my best were either the second or third of each group. For reference, you watched laps 1 and 7. I had a great time and definitely plan to go back. I'm also planning on participating in one of the upcoming Tesla Corsa events at Buttonwillow in California. Hope to see you there. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. I have a lot more coming up. Thanks for watching.